play as a powerful, unique noble trying to succeed the timeless king as the true ruler of Dunya. Command your workers, execute stratagems, and expand your provinces in Pendulum. Thank you for joining us at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Melissa Delp.
And I'm Kevin Delp. Pendulum is a competitive, turnless, asymmetric, worker placement, time optimization game for 1 to 5 players, and it plays in about an hour.
It's designed by Travis Jones and published by Stonemaier Games, and they sent us this copy to review.
At the beginning of the game, players choose an asymmetric noble to play. Each has a basic and advanced side, and a unique set of stratagem cards for each. Players also receive a personal supply of resources and vote tokens, 10 each. Your player board shows how many of each resource and which workers you begin with.
The main game board holds the sand timers, achievement cards, and province cards.
Here's a quick overview of Pendulum. The game lasts 4 rounds, and players are going to be using their workers to take a variety of actions out on the board, trying to move their victory point markers as far as possible down their respective tracks.
But the game has sand timers and no turns. During a round, players can place their workers in rows that do not have a sand timer. You place the worker in the gold frame, but you can't activate that worker until there is a timer in that row.
When a timer runs out of sand, a player can flip it and move it to the other row.
Once the timer's there, you can activate a worker by pushing it down into the reward spot, paying any costs, and gaining the reward. That worker, though, is locked until the sand timer leaves that row.
So basically a row with no sand timer, you can place or remove your workers. A row with a sand timer, you can activate your workers, but you cannot place or remove them there.
The tricky thing is that the sand timers run at different speeds. The black timer is 45 seconds, the green timer is 2 minutes, and the purple timer is 3 minutes. So you're trying to optimize the number of actions that you take. Probably thinking something along the lines of, I can probably take 2 actions in the black area before I need to put someone in the green or purple areas.
But you can get blocked in those green and purple areas if you do not have your grande worker available. If there's already a meeple in the gold frame, you have to use a grande worker to also go there. The exception is the black area. Any number and kind of workers can go in the action areas in that section.
You start off the game with 1 regular worker and 1 grande, but you do have opportunities to gain more workers and even upgrade one of them to another grande worker. Once I have all 4 of my workers out, I'm usually more willing to place one of them in a green or purple area early and just let it sit there to make sure that I don't miss out on the action.
I have had times when I've been taking as many actions as possible before that purple timer flips. But sometimes my timing's been off and I don't have a worker unlocked to move it before that purple timer flips, and I miss out, meaning I have to wait a whole another 3 minutes.
Yeah, I would say that there is some moments of flurry and activity, especially when a timer flips, but overall I don't find the game too frantic.
No.
It's less about speed and more about planning out your actions and optimizing those different timers. I can place one of my workers on the green area even if I don't have gold, because I know during that 2-minute window to activate that person, I can get some gold in the black area because that's only 45 seconds.
One of the things I like is that you can upgrade your production with the province cards. You can go heavy in the same type of resource or diversify. I like getting the provinces that give you vote tokens.
Votes are important. At the end of each round, you reorder the privilege track based on the number of vote tokens. The higher you are, the better the rewards. Getting first pick of the council cards can be super helpful.
The cards you gain during the game and the cards you start with can really influence your strategy, and I think they really help with the replayability and the variability of the game.
Yes, even though the objective of the game is the same every time, I feel like your strategies and playstyle is going to be different based on the noble you have, especially those advanced nobles. And you've played all of them, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I've played all those advanced nobles. I really wanted to see what they brought to the table. I really like that each character has asymmetric production banners. This brings its own strategies. But the cards for the advanced nobles can really change how you play the game. Some of them are like double the rewards on an action space, or place your worker on a row with a timer.
Yeah, I've also played all of the advanced nobles, and there were some that were easier for me to play. I could see how to combo their cards better. I think the alchemist noble might be one of the easiest characters because she has a lot of flexibility on her board. Some people might think she's a little overpowered.
She's got some pretty cool stratagem cards. The advanced noble alchemist.
Right. Some of the nobles I played, when I was looking at their cards, I kind of missed some of the other powers. Some of the nobles have cards that let you unlock a worker from a time space, and those cards are really nice. But I did enjoy the challenge of trying the different nobles. The asymmetry reminds me some of Scythe and Tapestry. The different player powers vary in complexity. I think the asymmetry will appeal to some players, especially players who like to puzzle out different strategies, looking at a specific noble and thinking, how can I use this character's abilities to my advantage?
See that, yeah.
How do I play this more complex, possibly harder to win with character and still make it work? But I do think there will be other players who might be frustrated by the asymmetry.
I could see that.
Players who want everyone to be on a really level playing field. I can hear some of our friends going, "What? You can do that? Why can't I do that? That character's overpowered."
If you feel that way, then you could have everyone just play with the basic character sides. They're going to be a lot more similar, especially those stratagem cards. But that means your strategies all might be very similar, and you might be in direct competition with each other, especially in those green and purple spots.
Right. With some of the advanced nobles, I felt like my game flow was different than other players because I'm using resources in a different way or using different types of resources for things. So I didn't feel like I was going to the exact same spots that they were needing to go to.
I wish the player boards were double-layered recessed, like Scythe, especially since you're doing a lot more moving in this game. It's super easy to bump your board and pieces can move. The Suburbia Collector's Edition is a good example on how you can have a double-sided board and both sides be recessed for pieces. Another minor critique is some of the colors don't match or don't make sense right away. For new players, it's a little confusing what produced what.
So this kind of brings up the topic of theme. That there's some character stories and theme in the rulebook, but personally when I'm playing, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm getting warriors to go conquer a province, or I'm upgrading my culture and advancing it. I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting red cubes to do this.
I totally agree.
Oh, I need to move my little circles up the track for victory points. And for me, that's not a problem. I like strategy games, Euro games, but if you like really thematic games, you might be disappointed.
I could definitely see people saying this is a themeless game. There is a theme there, but I don't know if it translates as well into the gameplay. Another critique are the sand timers. We have had games where the sand was not flowing, and that can be frustrating, especially if you're counting on things to happen at certain times.
But that can be remedied by just being firm when you flip it or giving the timer a tap on the top. We didn't run into it too many times. Now we have had some critique, some criticism of the game, but overall I would say I have enjoyed playing it each time.
I've enjoyed it as well. I've actually played it 7 times now at different player counts, 2, 3, 4, and 5 player. The 2 and 3 player board, it's definitely different, and I like what it does, but I think personally I like the 4 player game the best.
We actually did a playthrough of a 4 player game on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to see how it plays really, like in real time,
it's live.
You can check the link up there and see the 4 player game. We used advanced nobles.
I really like the illustrations for all the nobles, and they're even a little different on both sides. And the different action spaces are designed for all players to see clearly. I really like the provinces that they have different colors, that they're color-coded. It helps you identify what resources they provide. And here's a look at the insert, A Place for Everything.
I think this game is going to be polarizing.
Oh, yes.
Not only because of the asymmetry, but also the simultaneous turnless play. Some people are going to really love it. Some people are really going to hate it.
I agree, yes.
Here are a few reasons why I think you might not like this game if you fall into these categories. If you're someone who likes to keep track of what everyone else is doing, whether it's to just kind of know where they are in the game or to sort of police them, that's going to be difficult in this game because you are focused on what you're doing. Also, if you're concerned about players making mistakes, because I think it will happen.
I've done it.
Someone might forget to pay a cost. They might actually forget to take a reward, which hurts them. They may, take the wrong thing. It's probably going to happen, especially with newer players. But hopefully as they become more, comfortable with a game and understanding it, there'll be fewer of those. But it is probably going to happen.
Now, there actually is a variant that actually doesn't really use the timers.
Yes, a sort of timerless version. And the rules actually suggest that you play either one round that way or maybe a whole game that way for players to learn the action spaces and learn how the game works. I don't actually have an opinion on that because we've never played that version. Each time we've played the full version with the timers and taught it to other people that way.
Yeah, to me the game is being advertised as this timeless, turnless, simultaneous play, so I wanted to just play it that way. I feel like the other one is just to help you learn how to play. I'm sure some people could just play it with the time turner way. The track way. I mean, that's fine if you want to play it that way. I just feel like the game itself, the innovation of the game is what the game is. I was actually a little concerned, personally, with the sand timers when I first heard about the game. I'm a player who has not really liked any games that have used sand timers. I was just really concerned with what they were going to do in the game. But as I was playing it, I really liked what they were doing.
Yeah, I think the timers, the way they're used in this game, is innovative. I can be a little bit more on the analysis paralysis side, as evidenced by this shirt I chose to wear, but I don't feel like I'm too rushed.
Well, actually,
in the game.
I felt like I was actually locked. Like my players were locked in those positions, and I actually was the one going to the sand timer saying, "Please hurry up! I really just want you to move so that I can use my workers," because I felt like it was more about the planning and figuring out where I want my workers to be, and they were just sort of stuck in the place where I put them until the sand timer actually moved. So it was more about me trying to
wanting the game to go faster
than the sand timers being too fast. And I think you'll actually see that in our live playthrough.
Yeah, I enjoy the discovery aspect of games, trying out different strategies, figuring out how to make different things work. So I liked the nobles. I like that they are asymmetric and that you almost have to figure out each time not how to play the game, but how to strategize
I like that too.
for that game. And to me, that's an appealing thing of Pendulum. If you are more of an optimization, trying to find the quickest, easiest, most optimal way to do something, like, oh, I can do these two actions over and over again.
To me.
That would be boring to me. So I don't know if this game would be a great fit for that type of player. It might be more of the player who likes exploring the different strategies and kind of that wonder and discovery and puzzle and, oh, this seems more difficult. Can I conquer that?
If you're looking for a game with a challenge and you are intrigued by what we've said in our review, then I would say check out Pendulum from Stonemaier Games. It's going to be, pre-order is going to go live the beginning of August at stonemeiergames.com. And as always, we'd love for you to like this video and subscribe to Tantrum House.
Something command. 33 steps.
Players are using their workers to take a variety of actions on the board, trying to move their victory port markers.